I'm Steve Dangle, and you're listening to Stick to the Pod.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 15, Stick to the Pod. And what a first weekend back in 2024 we had in NIHL North 1, the Morley Conference. Might not have all been for the best reasons. Some might say it's a little controversial, but we'll get into that later on. But first of all, we'll get straight into last weekend's fixtures. We'll get the results, we'll go through those, and then we'll look forward to what's happening this weekend around the league, with more controversial incidents as well. A few player moves from here and there. We'll just get straight into last weekend's games. So, on the Saturday the 6th of January, the Hull Jets and Widnes Wild played out a 6-3 game to the Hull Jets, still showing that impressive home form. But I am noticing better improvement from the Widnes Wild. Hull's goal scorers, Beach with 2, Robinson with 2, Jessico and Dainton, and the Wild scorers of Harper, Coulter and Gilbert. Second game that weekend was at Ice Sheffield, the Sheffield Seminars 2 and the Billingham Stars 6. The Stars were flexing a fully fit roster by one. Be another couple of weeks until the decor are fully fit numbers wise. But other than that, the roster was firing on all cylinders. By no means anywhere near their best on Saturday versus Sheffield. Getting that Christmas turkey off, getting the legs back underneath them. A couple of lads, it's probably the first time they've been on the ice in over a month. For the injured lads, 6 to 8 weeks for a couple of them. So as much as the performance wasn't there, the lines were clicking. 3 stacked lines who can do some real damage to defences in this division. Some very pretty goals, and Ian Brown sniping as good as I've seen him all season long. Goal scorers for the game, Billingham Stars, you had Sykes from 2, Ian Brown with 2. You can see he's starting to find that goal scoring form. Stars, probably the best player of the past month, Jack Emerson. He has been unreal. Absolutely fantastic. And the lad is only get on the third line. The third line for the Billingham Stars against Sheffield Simmers was fantastic. Jack Emerson, Sean Galloway and Preston. And Preston, that was the 3 of them. Unbelievable. All know how to put the puck in the net, and a line that also works very, very hard. So if that's the third line of the Stars moving forward, that'll be quite impressive to have that as the third line. Goal scorers Sykes 2, Ian Brown 2, and Emerson 1. And great to see James Moss back on the scoring sheet in his first game back after injury. And 2 scorers for the Sheffield Simmers were Brammer and Dermot. Pretty much a straightforward game, no flash points. Stars quality showed throughout, even though nowhere near the best, not even close to being at the best, but some pretty team goals were scored nonetheless. Now this fixture is the first of a big weekend last weekend for the 2 teams, and that was big rivals Blackburn Hawks and the D-side Dragons. We all know what happened on the Sunday, but we will go through Saturday first. A Barnes hat-trick, Royds and Riddick for the Hawks. Wasn't enough to beat the D-side Dragons, with Parsons, who seems to be fully fit again after sustaining a season-ending injury that it was first reported. McKinney, Jessen, and I think that's 2 goals from Dickinson as well. McKinney's starting to score a lot of goals. Jessen's starting to turn up a lot more on the score sheet as well. So the D-side Dragons taking a 7-5 victory over rivals in the Blackburn Barn. So that covers it for Saturday, the first Saturday back of the season for everybody. So I'll quickly run through those again. The Blackburn Hawks 5, D-side Dragons 7, the Hull Jets 6, the Widnes Wild 3, the Sheffield Simmers 2, and the Billingham Stars 6. So we're moving to Sunday, the night off for the Billingham Stars. So it was just a 1-game weekend for myself. I did head down to watch the Ladler conference, I believe it is. It is Ladler, isn't it? To watch the Billingham Buccaneers, but we'll get into that a little bit later on when I cover some of Division 2. So Sunday's fixtures were D-side Dragons and the Blackburn Hawks, the return game. We'll get into that a bit later on. And then Nottingham Lions played Hull. The Hull Jets. I don't have any scorers for this game, but it was a close game again. I think the Lions have been to 4 overtimes now this season and lost all 4. So it'll be interesting to see if those extra points that they are getting, even though they lose, will get them into the playoff positions. But the Hull Jets run out 4-3 victors in overtime. The next game on my list is the Whitley Warriors and the Sheffield Scimitars. A comfortable evening for the Warriors, a 5-2 victory. Brammer getting both goals for Sheffield, and they got 5 goals spread out for the Warriors, with no one standing out, as no one has all season. Douglas, Grigors, Weatherall, Queenan on the score sheet for the Warriors. The next game is up at Hobbs Moat Road, the team that are pressurising the Stars at the moment. Solihull Barons and the Widnes Wild, and I was quite shocked to see this game go into overtime. Back-to-back overtime home games now for the Barons against teams who you would expect them to beat comfortably. I don't want to discredit to Widnes. They are clearly improving their performances week by week. After the Joey Coulter Texgate, he seems to be improving the squad, and they seem to be improving with better results. Widnes' goal scorers on the night: Harper, Barlow with 2, and Edwards with 2. And the usual suspects are there for the Solihull Barons, although I do think Otterson might have been missing this game, because I find it hard to believe out of 6 goals he's not on the score sheet. Finishing part by fault: Dan Mulcahy with 2, Phil Mulcahy, Hayward and Anderton with the 6 goals, and a 6-5 victory for the Barons. And then we have the Deeside Dragons at home in the return fixture against the Blackburn Hawks. Deeside running out the stronger side of the two, coming away 6-3 victors, with McKinney scoring a hat-trick. New Deeside import Hayek getting another 3 as well, getting his first hat-trick for the club. And the Hawks scorers being Crawley, Barnes and Lutwich. Now, all I've seen is fantastic comments about this game, or these games, saying what a fantastic advert for hockey that these two teams played out, but completely overshadowed by an incident that occurred at the end of the second period and before the third started. We'll get into that a little bit later. What we will do is we'll cover this weekend's fixtures. We'll have a little look ahead to what's happening this weekend, and then we'll go back and we'll talk about the week's talking points, which I think is probably the best way to do it. So sorry if you can hear the rustling, it's just my fixtures. So this weekend sees Hull versus Sheffield at Hull Arena. The Widnes Wild have a chance to get one back on the Solihull Barons. I think that game could be as close as it was last week. A lot will depend how the Barons do travel, and also what is available to the Widnes Wild. Sunday sees the North East Derby, Billingham Stars versus the Whitley Warriors. Whitley have took 2 dry humpings so far in their own barn, so they will surely want to put a marker down on the Stars this coming Sunday. Deeside play the Wild in Deeside. Again, I think that could be more interesting than we think. Although I do expect a comfortable Deeside win, it'll also come down to what's available for the Wild and how well they travel. And then the Nottingham Lions are on home ice to the Blackburn Hawks. And it'll be certainly interesting to see how they bounce back after 2 big losses last week, and obviously the week of incidents that we've had. The other fixture that should have been was Blackburn Hawks. This is on Saturday the 13th. This should have been Blackburn Hawks versus Deeside Dragons in the M56 Cup. Now, it's not going ahead. This was announced yesterday, tea time, the day before the fixture should have went ahead. It very much seems that the Deeside Dragons have spat their dummy out, and they're not playing this game due to the incident that happened last week. Now, people say that's right. They don't want to be playing each other after what happened last weekend, but I think that's a load of dog's bollocks if you ask me. It's the perfect time to play each other. Yes, there was a major incident, which we'll get to, but that's happened. That's been investigated. Let the people who are dealing with that deal with it. You move on. You play your next fixture, Because I can guarantee you, if this was a league game, D-side will not be putting toys out of the pram. I can guarantee that. I really can. It would not be happening. Now, I've been told I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't have a clue what's going on. Unfortunately, in some incidents, I am quite lucky and honoured to know some of the people that I do know. And I do know what is going on between the two clubs. And I can tell you that D-side pulling out of this game the day before is outrageous. People are working too hard on and off the ice at each and every club in this division to make their teams look more professional and be more professional. That's it. That's the same happening for this league. I am sick to death every year of people taking the piss out of North 1, calling it a beer league, calling it a joke, when people are working their bollocks off to make it a be more professional league. So then you get a team pulling a stunt. We're not playing because you've banned one of our players because of said incident. I'm sorry, it's not good enough. You should be playing this game, more so for the fans and more so for respect of the game. Yeah, it's only an M56 Cup game. It's not going to affect the league, which is another reason why you've done it. Because you know fine well if you did it in the league, there's probably a potential points deduction. But you can afford to throw away this game because it's not your gate. It's not going to affect your gate. Well, knowing stuff that Blackburn have done in the past, I can be very certain that they'll be chasing compensation for the lost gate of this game if it doesn't go ahead at a future date. But yeah, just play the game. Think of the fans. That's what it's about. Think of the rivalry that you're creating. There'd be extra fans at this game just because of what happened last weekend. Doesn't mean there's going to have to be retribution. It doesn't have to happen that way. The game just it could just play out with no incidents whatsoever. But there's interest there. People are interested in the game. People are interested in our sport. And that's what we need. Yeah, it's probably took an ugly situation for people to think, oh, I fancy this game. It could be an absolute barn burner. It could be full of this, full of that. Someone may not even make a hit in anger. That doesn't matter. People are interested in our sport. People are talking about our sport. And that's what we need. So we will go back to that incident. So just let me get my phone up. So Blackburn put a statement out Monday about an incident that occurred at D-side. Now, we know something was happening. I think Match Night Live mentioned something about an altercation that happened in the corridor. But it came out Monday that basically the Blackburn Hawks have said one of their players was assaulted by a D-side player. And they've named the two players involved. Rightly or wrongly, I'm not the law. I don't know what the law is. I don't know what the best advice is. But they are 100% certain that these two people are involved and they have named these people and what the situation is. They've named, that's how confident they are. They're not stupid enough to make a story up because they'll know it can come back and bite them on the arse big time. So they're confident enough and they're defending their guy who has been injured in a situation. Whether he plays this weekend, I don't know. It's not up to me. He may have concussion and be out for 2 or 3 weeks. He may have a more severe facial injury. I don't know. He may turn up this weekend and play and everything is fine. But at the end of the day, the Blackburn Hawks have named the two people involved because they are 100% certain of an incident that happened. Now, I've seen loads of social media crap. Oh, you weren't there, so you don't know what happened. Nobody saw this incident, so there's no witnesses. Well, how do you know nobody saw the incident? Because if you know that nobody saw the incident, that means you've seen the incident. Unless it's just going off telltale. Pretty much a lot of us are going off telltale. But in this incident, the Blackburn Hawks have come out and they've named the two guys and they're backing their guy. And that's a brave move to make. They could have quite easily just put a statement out there and left it at that. Let rumours and hearsay fly off the wall. But no, they're 100% confident of what's happened. They're 100% confident in the incident that happened and the two people that are involved. So in that regard, I do back the Blackburn Hawks. What I don't agree with is banning said person from the rink. It affects, it's against the rules of competition for me. I know an incident has occurred. They 100% believe it's an assault. So they're protecting their guy and don't want a guy in who's assaulted their guy. Still not enough for me to ban said person from the rink. Because what will happen? Well, D-side have reacted and said they're not going to play in Blackburn on Saturday. costing Blackburn a big gate receipt. What if this goes further and Blackburn go, well, tell you what, we don't want Adam Barnes in our rink. It doesn't matter that he hasn't done anything. They could just make something up and say he's not welcome, not invited, and won't be allowed to play in our rink. Imagine the kind of worms that can open right across the league. Not a good look either. Yes, I totally understand that you don't want said person in there because of the allegations you made, but there's an investigation. You should get the results out of what you want out of that if you are 100% backing your guy and backing the incident that occurred. But to ban a guy from the rink, a player, I should say, not a fan, a player, just doesn't sit right with me. I know why you've done it, I understand why you've done it, but it just doesn't sit right with me because it can open a huge can of worms. Also as well, the statement from Dominic Osman. I've seen him do a lot of interviews, I've seen him do interviews after Stars games. Actually met him in Sweden, actually also met him in a toilet in a service station coming back from Sweden. The guy is an honest guy, he's a top coach. I have a lot of time for him, a lot of respect for him. So when that statement came out off his own back, you just know the Blackburn Hawks are probably 95% near the truth. As for the police investigation, I don't know how that'll go, I don't know how that works. We can only sit back on that. But what I will say, while he is being investigated for the alleged crime, I do believe the league should be suspending him pending the investigation. Just because something's happened during one of their games, granted the officials didn't see it, but clearly something happened during the game under their jurisdiction, and I just think it's the safest and best option for everybody for said player to be suspended indefinitely pending the investigation. Now, yeah, it might come back all innocent, might come back that both teams shake hands, move on, and I don't know, and it's all forgotten about when we move on from it. But until then, I think the player in question should be suspended. I know he's suspended due to an altercation he had later in the third period. He got 2-game ban for fighting, but yeah, I probably would be suspending him indefinitely pending an investigation. I know it's had a lot of coverage, 4,000 counting have been on it. I believe Banners on the Wall have been on it as well. That's my 50p's worth on the situation. I don't really want to go into too much depth from what I know, and from what I know it's pretty much hearsay. I'll certainly comment more when a statement's made to say it's all been dealt with and done. I'll say more then, but at the moment that's pretty much the end of that situation for myself. So what else do we have happening? Well, we do have some player movement. Lee Pollard has requested a move to be released from Hull Seahawks. Honestly, I'm surprised it took as long as it had. Obviously, his ice time wasn't there. No shocks to say that he's gone back to Blackburn. I know a statement has come out to say that they are happy that he's come back. Obviously, it makes their forward lines a little deeper, and it allows them to deepen the search for a defenceman. So I fully expect a defenceman to come in before the end of the deadline at the end of this month. Also, Warriors lose Hodgkinson to the Seahawks, who's replaced Pollard. That was a bit of hoo-ha around the PR and the release, the announcement of the signings of Hodgkinson. Hull did it, Warriors weren't happy, got resolved, Warriors were happy. That was pretty much that in a nutshell. Warriors then announced Andrew Wood back as returning, coming out of retirement to hopefully help them out of a hole, improve their chances in the playoffs. That's both Barnes and Wood now back in the roster for them. I know an interview with Willie Dunn came out saying that they expect a chance of some new faces coming in. Going around like wildfire that Peter Gapper will be a new import in Whitley Bay. I got it from a few different sources. I went to my main source on that subject. He says no, apparently not a chance. So time will tell, we'll only see. Nothing's been announced yet. I did miss a fixture off the fixtures as well this weekend. The Warriors are playing that massive second leg cup final game against the Edinburgh Capitals. where only the two teams were in there, but massive cup game and a chance to win silverware, as Warriors GM put it. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of game they have tonight and where it puts them for tomorrow, whether it'll give them good legs going into Sunday's game, whether it'll tie them out going into Sunday's game with the Billingham Stars. It'll certainly be interesting. And the other signing, well, it hasn't quite happened yet. Obviously on 4,000 and counting, which was Monday night. I think they did it live on Monday night, where they announced that Jack Brammer will be leaving the Steel Dogs. He put a statement out on his own Facebook. But he wanted to leave the Steel Dogs, but he has a release clause in his contract that no club can or will pay, because it's astronomical. Best part of 10 grand, I believe. So everyone got into a frenzy of where he was going to end up. I was jokingly saying Blackburn, because they have big money, they like to spend big money. But in all honesty, it will be the whole Jets if this gets resolved. Jack Brammer will strengthen the whole Jets roster if the Steel Dogs eventually release him. Wouldn't have mind seeing him in the Stars roster, to be honest. Very talented player, but I know he's trying to put his career first as well. I believe it was saying that he's an electrician, I believe it was. I don't know whether he's fully trained or not, or if he was just still at the apprentice stage. So he was still going through that. So happy to drop down in division, sign for Hull, and still be able to concentrate on his day job, which is probably the most important thing. So as that was pretty much everything for North 1. So as you can see, a very busy weekend, first weekend back. Potential to have another busy weekend this weekend with the fixtures that are going on. Billingham and Whitley, God knows what they can throw up. The Barons are playing a potential tough game in Widnes on Saturday. We'll see how that goes. D-side will have just the one game now this weekend against the Wild. And obviously we have all the fallout from last weekend, so we'll see if anything rumbles up from that. Also, obviously we're getting to the stage of the season now where obviously semi-finals and finals of cups are coming up. People are fighting for position in the playoffs. Playoffs, we do know, are confirmed as the 6th and 7th of April. I don't know if the venue has been put public yet, so I won't say nothing on that. But if I find that information, I'll get that. If I find out if that information is public, I'll certainly get that put out there in the public domain. And we'll shoot on over to the Laidler division. We'll quickly run over the results and the league table. But I'll do the league tables at the end, where we can cover the Murray League table as well, and we'll do the tables together. No, we'll jump on the Murray League table now, and then we're not getting confused. So the Murray League table, everyone's bunched together in games played. Warriors have played the most on 22, and a couple of teams are there on 20, and the others on 21. As we know with the Cup, Billingham, Solihull and Blackburn all confirmed so far. Still waiting on that fourth team to be guaranteed. One of Whitley, Hull or D-side. I believe D-side are the favourites for that position, with 2 games in hand. Although I believe one of the teams they do play is Solihull, which will be quite a tough game for them. But jumping onto the league table, we still have the Billingham Stars top of the division by 4 points, with a game in hand. That's correct, yeah, with a game in hand. Both those teams as well, Billingham Stars and the Solihull Barons, have now qualified for the playoffs. D-side Dragons are in third on 29 points with 21 games played. Whitley Warriors in fourth with 22 games played and 25 points. Just a point behind them is the Blackburn Hawks, who have only played 20 games. Hull Jets also on 20 games and 23 points. So if them two teams win their games in hand, they will be jumping the Whitley Warriors. So that could be putting them down into 6th. So this season has still got a lot to play for, a lot of positions to play for in the playoffs. As we know, it's 1v8, 2v7, etc. In 7th place, it's a Widnes Wild, 21 games and 13 points. So that's a 10-point drop back. So you can't imagine that positions 7, 8 and 9 are going to change too much. Well, they're not going to be catching 6th place. Whoever finishes 6th, that top 6 there is that top 6. It's just what order. And again, for the bottom 3, 7, 8, 9, that's going to be what order. And to be fair, it's probably going to be Winners Wild in 7th position. 21 points, 21 games, 13 points. They're probably not catching the Hull Jets, or whoever will be in 6th. And the team in 8th ain't catching them, because then, 5 points behind is the Sheffield Scimitars on 20 games and 8 points. At the bottom, the Nottingham Lions, 9th position, 21 games, 8 points. So just quick run through that. Billingham Stars, Solihull Barons, Deeside Dragons, Whitley Warriors, Blackburn Hawks, Hull Jets, Widnes Wild, Sheffield Scimitars, Nottingham Lions, 1st to 9th in order. So yeah, just to confirm that as well, the Stars and the Barons have both qualified for the first round of the playoffs. So as it stands, if the league was to finish right now, Billingham Stars will be playing Sheffield Scimitars, and the Solihull Barons, the Widnes Wild. So basically, you've got to finish in that top 4 for your home advantage. You get to say when and where you'll play on the Saturday of the playoffs. So you can decide whether you play at home or away on the Saturday, and then obviously the reverse fixture on the Sunday. So that is it for Morley. We'll jump straight into Laidler and we'll quickly scoot through these. Right, so straight into this. Saturday the 6th, the Coventry and NIHL Blaze beat the Sutton Sting in a shootout. That's a big result for the Blaze. Sting losing track on the top spot. Next game is Kingston Sharks 5, the Bradford Bulldogs 8. The Sheffield Titans lose out 5-4 to the Aldringham Aces. Billingham Buccaneers get a 5-1 victory over the Sheffield Titans on the Sunday night. Bradford Bulldogs get shut out on home ice to the Coventry and NIHL Blaze. What a great weekend they've had, a 4-point weekend. Sutton Sting back to winning ways on home ice, beating the Nottingham Lions NIHL 2 8-4. And Telford start their 2024 with a bang. Telford Tigers NIHL 2 10, Kingston Sharks 0. So going into this weekend, the 13th and 14th, the Billingham Buccaneers will face off against the Kingston Sharks. Telford Tigers NIHL 2 versus the Bradford Bulldogs. And then on the Sunday, the Buccaneers of Billingham are up in Aldringham playing the Aces. Quite a big game, that one. And the Sheffield Titans are playing the Nottingham Lions NIHL 2. So a couple of big games there this coming weekend in the Laidler. So the table then. So although the Sutton Sting are still top of the tree, they have played 22 games for their 37 points, with that overtime loss getting them the extra point last Saturday versus Coventry. However, back in second place, only playing the 19 games so far, Telford Tigers NIHL 2 are on 36 points. 3 games in hand, 1 point behind. You fully expect Telford to regain that top spot. Fantastic weekend for the Blaze, kind of putting them into contention. 22 games played though, however, so 3 games behind Telford. They're on 33 points. And that's probably the top 3 confirmed, which is strange to say. All 3 have qualified for the playoffs already, so they can dictate home ice advantage, etc. In 4th place on 20 games played, and way back on 12 points behind the Blaze at the moment, 21 points for the Buccaneers. So that was a big win against the Titans last week for them. 5th place, the Titans, 20 games played on 20 points. Altrincham Aces in 6th, 19 games, 16 points. So it's a big weekend as well for the Buccaneers playing the Aces. They can put a bit of distance between themselves and the Aces and try and cement that 4th spot, which would give them home advantage. Also, come playoff weekend, which if it's all the same weekend, if they get home advantage and the Stars get home advantage, not worth thinking about yet. That's for the fixture secretary to sort out. 7th place, the Bulldogs of Bradford, 19th with 13 points, and then way back in 8th, 6 points from 21 games played for the Kingston Sharks. And in 9th, NIHL 2 side, Nottingham Lions, 3 points from 18 games. I'll have a quick scroll down to their cup situation, because I know theirs is a bit tighter than, So the 3 teams confirmed will be Telford Tigers NIHL 2. Their opponent currently unknown. Sutton Sting versus Coventry Blaze of the NIHL will play each other in 2 legs. That's on the 27th and 28th of January. Could be a great game, that. They've obviously had a great game on the 6th of January, going to overtime. Could be two fantastic games between them two sides. In 4th place currently, holding that spot, is the Titans. Aldringham Aces and the Buccaneers will face off Sunday, and the winner of that just could well nick the last cup spot. Just bear with me and let me go back up to the fixtures, because I want to see who the Titans actually play in cup action. Right, so we'll play against Kingston Sharks. So this makes things very, very interesting. Their cup will be sorted out at the end, or not, next weekend. Oh, that's a shame. It would have been nice if it was this weekend. So the Aces play the Buccaneers Sunday. The winner of that is going to put themselves in a good position of being that 4th place team in the cup. However, the week after, the Titans go to Kingston, and if they can win that, they will cement that 4th semi-final, well, the 4th position and that last semi-final spot. So a lot to play for over the next 2 weekends in the cup, same as the Morley as well, with the 3 teams battling it out. So yeah, good to see that stuff. We've still got a lot to play for, and that just about covers everything from me this week. I will try and get these episodes out earlier. I'm just trying to get myself in a better routine with work. It's been manic. If there's any other content that you'd like me to cover, any ideas that you'd like to see for more content for the YouTube channel, that sort of thing, if there's things that you'd like me to do or talk about, drop me a message. You can find me on Twitter, or X as it's now known as Stick to the Pod. Facebook is also Stick to the Pod. Get us on the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe if you can. Also, if you can share the page, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, X and YouTube, that would be fantastic. Or drop us an email. The email address hasn't changed. It's sticktothe.pod@gmail.com. So any other bits and bobs that you want me to cover, any incidents that you might want me to talk about, if there's other stuff going on in the hockey world, let me know. But yeah, that's going to be the end. That's the end of episode 15. Enjoy your weekends. Hopefully we don't have any controversial incidents, but we have plenty of great hockey to talk about next week. So I will speak to you then. Bye for now.